you know, say you're going to build a model railway, it takes weeks and months and probably years.
You have to have a team. It's too much to just be a lone wolf in a club.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work, no. Welcome to London Road Station, which is the headquarters of the Brighton Model Railway Club. We've been in existence since 1971. I'm member number 01, and my great friend of mine sitting alongside me here, Philip Bryce, who's member number 03. So we've both been involved with the club since day one. We started off, we met here back in 1971 in a dark evening. There was no light, no heat.
In those days I was in the motor trade, so when we came in here and there was no light, no heating or anything, I fixed up 2 car headlights with lead acid batteries so that everyone could see what the rooms were like.
And we decided then, there was a whole group of people that we didn't know each other, or some of us did. We went off to a local church hall and we had a committee set up and the club was underway. But, you know, as I say, we've met for over 54 years now,
Yeah.
and because we've known each other over 60 years, 64, 65 years, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, we were about 7 when we first met at school. To me it's almost like having a brother, because I'm an only child and Keith is like the brother I never had.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
But we share a similar sense of humour.
Yes.
We laugh at the same silly things. You know, schoolboy humour really, isn't it?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes, yeah. Welcome to the club. Let me show you the club rooms. This is one of the layout rooms. This used to be the general waiting room until we took over in 1971. This is our club room, our main meeting room where we meet for film shows, the occasional film show. We have our tea and coffee here during the evening. We're also using it at the moment to work on our new Highcombe layout, which is going to the show in November. Basically, it was an empty room. The table, which is still, that's been here all those years, along with these 2 chairs. But the room was effectively empty. It was still in southern region green and cream paintwork. There was a great big hole in the ceiling where the gas light was, the gas lamp, and there were holes all around where they'd taken all the gas pipes out, and it was in a pretty poor state. And we set about getting it back to how it is today, some 50 years on.
Model railwaying, it's creating a scene. For some people it's trying to recreate a memory or an era. Some people do it because they like to do the scenery. It's like making a 3D picture. Other people like the trains and the stock and building them or modifying them, painting them. Other people like the wiring side of it, the technical side of it. Some people just like to come along and talk about trains. They don't particularly want to get involved on the practical side. Tuesday nights are our club nights, and we tend to divide into groups. The layout behind me is being built by one group. There's another layout in another part of the club which is being worked on, and I'm working on the wiring of a third layout in the adjacent room. So we do tend to separate out and then come together towards the end of the evening for tea time in this room, where we all sit round and talk and review what we're doing, really.
Right,
Well, good morning. My name's Dave Clements. I'm on the committee that tries to run the club and guide its members. My main role on the committee is as secretary. And the full title is honorary secretary because we don't get paid. We do it for the love of a hobby, or so we convince ourselves. I'm also, lastly, the gaffer, the lead on Dugdale, which is the club's LMS branch layout, which we take to exhibitions. This is a 4mm scale model of a terminus up in the Derbyshire Peak District, which is serving a quarry, and the limestone it quarries goes off to Cheshire, where it is processed in the ICI factory in some process. I have no idea, I'm not a chemist, but the whole reason for the station is so that they can mine the stuff. This started out as another company, but we made it into an LMS, London, Midland and Scottish, based in the late 1930s. So the phony war is just starting. You can see the air raid warden up on his lookout post with his buckets of sand for incendiaries and his air raid siren. And some of the vehicles even have the white patches on the wings and bumpers. This is what happened. We run to a schedule, not a timetable, so things take as long as they take. The whole schedule takes about an hour. But the stock is, a lot of it is ready to run, out of the box. Some of it is homemade, and it keeps people interested. This used to be known as Little Telsley, but when we had to rename it and relocate it, I decided to call it Dugdale. Doug is the Christian name of one of our old members who passed, who was our treasurer and a member for many, many years. And Doug, as treasurer, is an expression everybody knew him by as "How much?" As treasurers all over the world, he was very careful about spending money. So whenever a bill was submitted to him, he was always, "How much?" He paid, but he always had to make a comment. But that's why it's called Dugdale. Of course, Dales, that's Derbyshire Dales. Yes, young Doug used to get very upset because we spent a lot of time talking. Did modelling, but a lot of talking. He was, no, let's do modelling. But yeah, he didn't suffer fools. If you continue to do things wrong, that got him upset. Yeah, I've told you once, I've told you twice. Why are you still doing it wrong? Which is good because you really got to get to grips with accuracy. But Douglas was my mentor. I tried to emulate what he did. It's my homage to him. We've had suggestions that it should go because it's old-fashioned. I'm restricting, not restricting that. I'm not letting that happen. I have to keep Dugdale going because if the club ever decides it's got to go, well, I'll buy it. God knows where I put it because won't fit in my loft. But I'd buy it and I'd keep it here and say to the club, if you want it in an exhibition in a hurry, here it is. Bluebell Railway is our nearest, no, it's not our nearest, it's nearly our nearest preserved line. But once a year they now do a model railway show. For some reason, I can't know why, Phil, who is our chairman, suggested, well, the Bluebell sponsored New Haven Club last year, perhaps we could get some sponsorship. So I rang the guy up and said, are you looking for layouts for your next railway weekend? And the guy came back and said, yes. In fact, what we'll do, we'll sponsor you this year. We'll be your partner, which put us under a bit of pressure. But we did well. We were positioned beautifully. We were actually above the Bessemer Arms at the Bluebell. So we always had access to food and drink, which is the Harvest Best Bitter. And it was good fun. It was air conditioned as well, because that weekend, I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago, it was incredibly hot. And people were coming in, I think, just to get cool. Oh, there's another railway here. And it was good. We had a damn good time. I love exhibitions. I'm a firm believer in exhibitions, not only to spread out the word of the hobby. This is what you can do. None of us are professionals. We're all amateurs. So we're all still playing being modellers, but we are modellers. But this is what you can do. I won't say natural, but I do love to talk. At the Blue, people come up to us, oh, that's a nice way of doing it. How did you do that? Do you remember the working level crossing gates? That blew people's minds. How in heavens did you get those to coordinate? I said, well, even if I'm operating, I should stop and I should talk to them. Because if you don't talk to them, A, you're alienating them, and B, you're there to spread the word. And if you can tell people how it works and the pitfalls and how to do it easily, you feel good, because you're helping the hobby and you're helping modelling going on. So when we unpacked Dugdale from its last exhibition, it worked perfectly well. In advance of the Bluebell, knowing it's got to be right, but I just couldn't get it working. We couldn't understand why. You know, you're working at one end of the layout and you're operating there. Suddenly, at the extreme, 16 foot away, a train moves. Thinking, that shouldn't happen. And it really was difficult. And Phil said, OK, we'll come down on Saturday. And him and Peter White, who's also very good electrics, they got it on its side. Went, yep. Ah, here we go. Yep. It was way off my mind, because I took on a personal role to get the damn thing running for Bluebell. So yeah, I was immensely pleased that they volunteered, and on a Saturday, so it didn't impinge upon normal club time, and they got it working. It was a relief. As you know, I'm not a well person. I've got inoperable cancer, so I've either got 6 months or 6 years left. So those two guys and the rest of the club support me at club a hell of a lot. They've taken me on board and said, OK, good to see you're still here. So I make an effort to come here. Do you remember COVID? Oh, don't we all remember COVID? This place was in lockdown. I was in my first batch of chemo for the cancer. But Keith Carter and myself used to come every Tuesday, just to check security here, you know. But we both did work. I did work in here, he did work up the hut, and we kept things going. I did work on Dugdale, put some plastic screens up, and Keith did some work. He tidied up and did some painting up there. So the club was supporting me. For that, I'm incredibly grateful.
I think my favourite thing is meeting everyone, and I think particularly since I've retired, it's important to me to be with other people, not necessarily with the same interests and ideas, but broadly speaking under the railway umbrella, as it were. I think it can be quite calming and reassuring. I think generally for mental health it's very good.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. Coming down on a Tuesday night, and because there's other friendships have been made through the club, which are now lifetime. Most members you'll see every week.
You have to have a team. It's too much to just be a lone wolf in a club.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work, no. It's the camaraderie, isn't it, in the club,
Yeah.
really? That's the main
Yeah.
thing, camaraderie in the club. Here on a Tuesday night, very little disagreement on what we're doing, is there?
No.
If any, really. There's
No.
coming together, everybody, as he says, you know, there's a common goal. I think it's the fact you come together on a Tuesday night and there are other things going on as well. There are other spin-off clubs as well that people go to. It's all, you know, come out on a Tuesday evening instead of just sitting and watching television.
Mm.
Come and do something worthwhile, meet people, have a giggle, have a laugh. It's not, you know, it's not terribly serious, is it? It's a club night, and we get on with work. And as you said, as Phil said earlier on, after about 9:10, we stop and we have a cup of tea and biscuits and things down here, and a bit of chit chat, and then we all disappear about sort of 10 o'clock-ish. You know, and it's all part of the club.
Mm.
That's all part of being the club, and you get a lot out of the club. I think that if you're prepared to put something in, you get an awful lot out. Well, this is the a general information sheet from 1974, which we put out. I think I typed this myself on a Gestetner stencil. No photocopying in those days. And this was what we said. The club was formed in October 1971 by a group of railway modellers who felt the need of a club which would cater for the average modeller in the Brighton area. The aims of the club are to promote and further interest in railways and to offer the members the opportunity of participating in the construction operation of the club's model railway or model railways. And that really hasn't changed in, 51 years. That's still our aims and what we would like to try and do.
Do you think your 17-year-old self would be proud of the club now?
That's a very difficult question to answer. I would probably say yes to that. Yes, I think so.
Why is it a difficult question to answer?
In those days, you joined lots of clubs. There were lots of clubs around, model railway clubs, stamp clubs, swimming clubs, all sorts of clubs. The club era has sort of passed to some extent, unfortunately, but I do hope that clubs do come back, because they're an excellent way of meeting people and meeting up with kindred spirits. And we've achieved an awful lot here in 51 years, I think, some of which was long-lasting friendships.
While we were being hauled by this steam train, Keith went to sleep. So while we were going through the countryside with a steam locomotive, Keith fell asleep.
Not the whole time.
Not the whole time, no.
You have to belong to a club because you get shown how to do things, because nobody knows everything. So you pick up ideas from other people. You don't want to do it like that. This is the way to do it. Well, that's the way you found it works. It might not be the right, but you found it works. I'll try it. So that's being a club member.